What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. I want to talk to you guys about something today that keywords that I want you guys to look out for. Now, many of the supplement companies out there, they love to promote clinical dosing, right? They love clinical dosing, dosing used in studies, right? That is one of their catchphrases to catch your attention, okay? Because they know that the average consumer is going to look at something and say, well, in a scientific study, it was proven to do this. Scientists say this, doctors say this, professors say this. This is the dosage that was used in that study. So therefore, this company is on the up and up, and they're loading their supplements with clinically dosed ingredients, which makes it a good company. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, here's the problem. Many supplement companies don't even, or the people running them, involved with whatever, don't even realize what clinical dosing could mean to the consumer when you're combining ingredients that have similar effects that create synergy. Now, when I created GIFD Labs, I talked about synergy with the BMR4, with the perfect post. I mean, it's something that I think has been lost along the way, and I'm not really sure why, but here's the deal. When you have a clinically dosed supplement, okay, and let's say it's caffeine, okay, let's say caffeine, 200 milligrams is a standard dose or a clinical dose. They had 100 milligrams, I think, in one study, 200, 300. So anyways, clinical dosing that winds up as a standard dose in most caffeine products like no dose, etc., like that, are 200 milligrams. Now, that will be considered the clinical dose. Now, if you have a supplement that's a pre-workout, you have the clinical dose of caffeine, the clinical dose of DMAA, the clinical dose of Yohimbe, the clinical dose of huperzine. What other stimulants you're putting in there? Here's the problem. Clinical dosing by themselves show that they're safe to use by itself in that dosage, right? When you start combining different ingredients or nutrients or compounds or whatever you want to call them, you now have to look at the fact that they are going to compound each other and create a bigger effect, which may not necessarily be what you want, okay? Here's the problem. You have these pre-workouts with all these stims. They do drastically raise cortisol. They do drastically raise adrenaline. They do really hit your adrenal glands a lot harder than if you just took caffeine or just DMAA by themselves. The problem is there are no studies combining these products for synergy. There are no studies that let you know if you're going to have DMAA and caffeine together, drop the dose on the caffeine from 200 to 100, drop the DMAA from 30 to 25. There's nothing giving them standards. So what they do is they say, well, clinical dosing, we're going to cram all that shit in our product and then claim clinical dosing because that's all people want to hear anyways. It's marketing. It's not true. It's not effective. It doesn't make it a better product. Matter of fact, it may make a product that could harm you as opposed to being good for you. Now, how do you get around this? Here's the deal. When I took the calcium pyruvate and the 7-keto and I combined them for the BMR4, people looked at the general blend that I put and they said, wow, there's not enough milligrams to be clinical dosing in there. No shit, because there's not supposed to be clinical dosing. When you compound calcium pyruvate and 7-keto together, they amplify each other. The calcium pyruvate actually amplifies the 7-keto more, and we know that that's doing the amplification because in study settings or clinical settings or scientific studies or whatever, however you want to call them, the calcium pyruvate actually compounded and increased the effectiveness of creatine monohydrate. So now you have 5 grams of creatine that might act like more because the calcium pyruvate was added to it. What we did was basically start from scratch. Literally take the calcium pyruvate as well as the 7-keto, start combining them in different dosages to get the feel of it, and had to be a fucking guinea pig myself. There is no formula for it. There is no clinical fucking dosaging or studies to how to combine these ingredients, but there is compounded effect when you combine them. And nowadays, everybody and their brother is just throwing shit in supplements and they don't even know what the fuck the compounded effects are. Some of these companies don't even realize that some of the things you compound could actually have a detrimental effect to the body that's a negative effect, which is the opposite of what they're trying to do. So just be aware, guys, just because they talk about clinical dosing does not mean that that product works any better than any other product. Does not mean that those people that formulated the product and produced the product actually know what the fuck they're talking about. What they're doing is looking for keywords like, you know, clinical dosing. I mean, that is one of those things where when you hear the word clinical, you think scientists say it's okay, doctors say it's okay, this is on the up and up, I should do this. Well, many of these products that are out there in the market now have so many things in them. If it did do something harmful to you, you wouldn't even be able to identify what fucking nutrient or what compound or even the combination of compounds is doing. you wind up in the fucking hospital, which I've actually had people wind up in the hospital because of these stim pre-workouts when they're combined together. It says 1 to 2 scoops, right? Well, obviously you start with 1. And 1 scoop was too much for them. They needed a half a scoop because combining all these stims together really did compound the effects, and it hit them like a fucking train in the face. And if you don't eat, if you're on an empty stomach and you take some of these pre-workouts that are multi-compounds, it hits you even fucking harder. So now what happens is we have individuals that may have had food in their stomach on one day, took the 1 scoop, and didn't feel much. The next day, didn't have anything in their stomachs for a few hours, slammed 2 scoops, and wind up in the fucking hospital because their body absorbed it differently. There's so many things going on, guys, that I think that supplement companies in general have a responsibility to explain to the consumers why the products are made the way they are. How, not just the fact that beta-alanine does this. No, matter of fact, many of these companies are throwing beta-alanine in them in a clinical dosing so that you feel it. And matter of fact, you don't even see the effects of beta-alanine for a month or more after it's loaded in your system. Like, there's so many things going on with these fucking supplements, and it drives me fucking nuts because I walk around and I look at this laundry list of like 30 ingredients in a fucking product, right? And I look at what they're selling it for. And I think about the size of the company and how many they had to order to get the price point on that. So they have to order thousands or tens of thousands or however many fucking products. But the more ingredients you have in the product itself, the more expensive the product could be if they're quality ingredients and the company's not that big. So now what's happening, some of these smaller companies are jamming so much stuff in them, they're not ordering large amounts. And I know that because I'm a new startup company and I don't order large amounts. So what they do is they skimp on ingredients and put cheaper ingredients in them so they can have more things on the label. So when you see it, you're like, oh, it's got everything in the kitchen sink. Like hot stuff comes to mind back in the day, had so many things in it. Everybody wanted it because you buy one supplement that had everything in it. Now these companies are actually putting on, you know, like it's like vitamin C. They're putting like the cheapest form of vitamin C they can on the product. You don't even absorb it. You literally piss it out. It's a water-based fucking vitamin. You're not even absorbing it because it's the shittiest fucking quality you can have. So be aware, guys. There are companies out there that are combining fucking nutrients that don't understand what the fuck they're doing. Matter of fact, myself and the Gorilla Chemist have had several talks about this, about how we see people doing shit and we're like, where the fuck are they coming up with this from? They're literally just like sitting in a fucking boardroom and they're like, we need to make a new supplement. Well, what do you want it to do? This. All right, well, this is our options. Fuck it, put them all in there. That's pretty much how it goes. And they don't even understand, like, when I first started learning about synergy, okay, and how synergy worked, right? Now, you learn that word when you're in high school, right, in science class. But I learned through Health for Life was a company that wrote books on how to train abs called Legendary Abs, Maximum Calves, Ultimate Forearms, TNT Trap and Neck, something, or TNT, whatever it was called. But they trained the muscles in a synergistic way to get each muscle to fatigue before you were doing like a compound movement for these muscle groups, so they were all fatigued in general, so that they were all pulling their own weight and there wasn't one area stronger than the other. Like you basically tired them all out before you did the compound movements for them, which was synergy. And I was learning back then that synergy, when you're applying that to training as well as supplements, can create a better routine, workout routine, a better supplement, a better cardio routine. It can create something that is more efficient, works better in a shorter amount of time when you're combining things in the right way. But many of these companies, man, especially after talking to some of these guys, I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, these guys really are just marketing people. They're not even, they don't give a fuck about the fitness industry. They don't even work out themselves, some of them. They don't give a fuck about you and I. And they certainly don't know what the fuck clinical dosing means when you're combining products. You're not supposed to put the highest fucking dose when you're combining other ingredients that do the same fucking thing from other pathways. You're not supposed to do that. So be aware, guys, this shit is going on right now. Hopefully you guys can go out there and look at some of these products and figure out what the fuck is going on for yourselves. And like I said, no, don't take my word for this shit, guys. Never take my word. Go out there and research on your own. Go out there and fucking dig into shit. Ask fucking questions. I am happy to answer any fucking question about any product that I fucking put out, about any workout routine that I put out. I'm happy to answer those fucking questions. And if somebody cannot answer them or don't answer them or won't answer them, that's somebody to steer clear of. BioSteerTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biosteering.com is a blog to steer clear synergy bicep, and we are out.